Bonjour tout le monde! Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm happy to see you today for another video. And for this week's show, we're going to talk about the pronoun. So here we have two main pronouns that we use mostly every time in French. It can be orally, it can be when you write. Those pronouns are very used and common. We're going to see how do we build them, how do we put them in phrases, what are the different type of examples, what do they replace. You're going to learn everything about the I, which is the Y, and the en, the en. First, introduction. Comprendre quand utiliser en et I, meaning understand when to use the en and the y. Remplacer un groupe de mots par un pronom. Replace a group of words by a pronoun. This is what we use it for. It's just when you have a regular phrase, we tend sometimes to make it short or just to avoid repetition to use one of those two pronouns. So we're going to see how they can replace a full group of nouns and how do we build it in the phrase. And then produire des phrases simples à l'oral et à l'écrit, being able to produce some simple phrases orally and written. Okay, first let's focus on le pronom en, meaning the pronoun en. The sound is en, en. À quoi sert en? Donc, meaning, what is this for? What do we use en? What's the purpose of it? On utilise en pour remplacer. We use en to replace either de plus nom, meaning of plus a noun. You need to have the de, the noun. You can replace that with en. Or une quantité, a quantity. Let's see, for example, here. So, if I say, je parle de ce film, that means I talk about this movie. I can see here, when I say that my noun is de ce film. That means about this movie. All my group of nouns, they are starting with de. Because it's my little word, my little pronoun that I can use, all of that, de ce film, I can change it. And I can replace it with the little pronoun en. So instead of saying je parle de ce film, I talk about this movie de ce film, I'm going to take de ce film because I know that it starts with de. So it's the first rule, de plus a noun. And I'm going to replace all of those with just the en that I'm going to place before the verb. So we go from je parle de ce film to j'en parle. I talk about this movie, I talk about it. Now let's see, for example, number 2. Tu veux du café. You want some coffee. You know that du means some. We always have different types of some depending on the gender of the noun, because you know that some has to follow the noun. So here we have, to say some, we have du, which is the masculine some, de la, which is the feminine some, de, that is the plural some. We tend to put it always before a food or something that we eat. Donc here when we say you want some coffee, tu veux du café. Same rule, because it starts with du, which is the same rule as the de, you can replace it by en. So you're going to remove du café and you're going to replace that group of nouns by en. Oui, j'en veux. So if you want to answer to that question, you want some coffee? Yeah, I want some. J'en veux. And you're going to put the en before the verb. And another rule is also to be able to put en when you want to replace a quantity. Example, elle achète 3 pommes. She buys 3 apples. Of course, 3, number, it's a quantity. It's how many apples? 3 apples. Because it's a quantity, I can remove it and replace it by en. Same thing. So I can say, elle achète 3 pommes. Elle en achète 3. Here, why do I keep the 3? I can say, elle en achète. She's buying some. Elle en achète, that works. The only thing is that because I have a specific number, because it's a specific quantity, because it's 3, it's pretty precise, I can keep it at the end. It's not a must. It's just that if you say that, she's buying 3 of it instead of she's buying some of it. So it's maybe more precise. If you have a quantity, you can just remove the noun and keep the number at the end. So we go from elle achète 3 pommes to elle en achète 3. We know that the en replaces pomme. So little recap, just to make sure this is good. When we use un, it's to replace either some plus a noun, de plus a noun, or a quantity, une quantité. Every word that starts with the preposition de, du, de la, des, you can replace it by un. Every quantity that starts with a number, you can replace it by un. Don't forget that the un has to be before the verb. Always. Even if your noun, for example, when you see de ce film, parle de ce film, it's after my verb. When I'm going to put that pronoun, I'm going to replace all of my nouns with the un that I put before. And that's pretty much it, the main rule about the un. So where is it? La place, it's always avant le verbe, before the verb. Another example, just to make sure this is good. Je mange du chocolat. You know that here I have my pronoun, my verb, du chocolat. When I have du chocolat, it starts with du. Du, it's some. So that means that du chocolat is my group of nouns that I can remove and change by un. If I can do it, I'm going to remove it and replace it by un that I put before my verb. Je mange du chocolat, j'en mange. Another one. Nous parlons de la chanson. We talk about the song. De means of or about. So here, we talk about the song. We talk de la chanson. My group of nouns starts with de la. It's the same as some. So here, de la, okay, I have my noun that follows. I can take all of that group of noun, replace it by un that I put before my verb. Nous parlons de la chanson. Nous en parlons. And don't hesitate, if you have your pronoun, then the en, to link it, because en starts with the vowel. J'en mange, nous en parlons. That is pretty much it for the en. Now let's see the y, le pronom y. Contrary to en, where with en you were like replacing it with a quantity or with like some, here you can replace a group of nouns with the y only if you want to replace a place or a thing. Instead of having the du, de la, des for en, for the y, you need to have the a. A, the preposition to or in. That means it's always going to be announcing either a place, which is un lieu, or a thing that is une chose. Exemple, je vais à Paris. If I link it, je vais à Paris. I go to Paris. Here, I have my place, Paris. Before Paris, I have my a. It's the preposition I want. If I have a plus a place, I can take that, remove it, and replace it with the y that I put always before my verb. I go to Paris, I switch into j'y vais, I go there. Second one, il pense à son travail. He thinks about his job. Same thing, a plus a thing. It's a thing. He's thinking about what? His job. So because I still have my a, à son travail, I take, I remove, and I replace by y, the y that I put before my verb. Il pense à son travail. He thinks about his job. Il y pense. He thinks about it. Et ensuite, last one, nous répondons à la question. We answer to the question. À la question, starting with the a, it's good, I have my noun, I can take the full group from the a to the end of my word, and then I'm going to replace it by the y that I put before my verb. Nous répondons à la question, nous y répondions. We answer to it. So the y is the pronoun that you can always take and replace every time you have a place or a thing. When it comes to the en, let's keep in mind it has to be about something that starts with the sum or a quantity. So they're pretty much the same when it comes to like their construction, but for what they used and what they replace, they're different. The place of the place is the same as the en. It's always before the verb. So even if it takes the group of nouns that is after the verb, if you want to replace that group of nouns with this pronoun, you have to put this pronoun before the verb. Exemple, tu vas au parc. You go to the park. Here, tricky, because I told you that we always can change the pronoun y only if we have. Here, we don't have a, we have o. Y is the same rule. The y is going to be able to be in place if you have a word that starts with a, au, à la, ou o. Because all of those words, those prepositions means to. You just need to like adjust it depending on the masculine, the feminine of the noun that follows. But as long as you have a, o, à la, or au plural, you can always replace it with the Y. That's why, because it's tu vas au parc, you go to the park. Au, it's the masculine of à le. It's the same rule as the à. So here, instead of saying tu vas au parc, tu y vas. You go there. I'm taking my place, removing with the Y that I put before my verb. Another one. Elle répond à son message. She answers to her text, for example. À son message, to her text. Here, I can remove it because it's the object. I have the a. It's fine. And I'm going to put a Y before my verb. Elle y répond. She answers to it. So this helps me first to avoid repetition, because if, for example, you talk about the same two things in like those consecutive phrases and you say message twice, it's not as very pleasant when you want to read something and you know that you always have the same words over and over again. So it helps you to like avoid repetition, and it shows that you know how you pronounce. So it's a pretty good level of French. This is okay. Here I wrote you a lot of different examples. Here, and you're going to be able to compare the en with the y. It's almost the same phrases, but you're going to see because the meaning is a little bit different and the preposition is a little bit different, so will be my pronoun. Je parle de ce livre. I talk about this book. De is the preposition de. Because it's de, j'en parle. I talk about it. I replace my de ce livre with en. But if I say je pense à ce livre, I think about this book. Here is the a. Because it's the a, I'm going to replace everything by the y. Donc when it's de, I put en. When it's a, I put y. Another one. Nous revenons de la maison. We're coming back from the house. De la maison. I have de la. Nous en revenons. But if I say nous allons à la maison, we go to the house. It's a. Nous y allons. So keep in mind, you always remove everything that it's after your preposition. If you have de la maison, you remove everything. Do not keep maison. À la maison, same thing. Do not keep maison. You remove everything and you just place your pronoun before the verb. Last one. Tu parles de ton travail. You talk about your job. De ton travail, tu en parles. You talk about it. Tu penses à ton travail. You think about your job. À ton travail, I replace with a Y. Tu y penses. You think about it. So this is cool. It's just like an habit, but it's not that complicated. You just need to know that depending on the pronoun that you have in your phrase, if it's de, you replace by un. If it's a and all of the little declination, o, etc., à la, you can put the Y. So now, to ensure everything is maybe a little precise, here you have some phrases. I wrote you 5 different phrases, and you need to choose between the en or the y. So you look at the main phrase, try to look for the pronoun to help you. Do you see de, du, did, I mean some, or of? Or do you see a? Do you see à la? Do you see au plural? I mean something that is either a place or a thing, and then you try to change it with the right pronoun. Let's just read those 5 phrases together, and then I'm going to let you do the job. Numéro 1. Tu vas à l'école? 2. Il mange des légumes? 3. Elle pense à son examen. 4. Nous parlons de ce projet. Et 5. Vous allez au cinéma? Make sure that you can find the little pronoun to help you know if you're going to have to choose between en or y. Just know that they're always written here. So you need to find this pronoun, then the noun that follows, you take the full thing, you remove it, and you place it with the right pronoun that you can always put before the verb. Here it's already written. I put already the little place for you to know that you always have to put it before the verb. But if you want to practice more, if you want to have more exercise on that, if you still have any more questions, don't hesitate to reach to us in the comment section or on Instagram. You can ask us anything. We'll be happy to help you. I just hope that you'll like this video, that it was a little more clear when it comes to the pronoun. It's just practice, but you're going to see it's when you know and you get it, it's not that complicated, and you can sound like a real French person. I'm wishing you all a good end of your week and a good weekend. And I'm seeing you next week for another video. Salut!